Welcome to Sustainable Packaging with Cory Connors. Today's guest is my friend Michele Choate. She is the Senior Director of Strategy and Market Expansion for Corporate Image. Hey, Michele.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Thank you so much for being on the show. We appreciate it. I'm thrilled to be highlighting your company because I think what you're doing is amazing and I can't wait to share it with the world. So can you tell us about yourself? Tell us about your background a little bit.
Sure. Well, I've been with Corporate Image for 3 years. Before Corporate Image, I was with a company called ESCA, which produces rigid board for the industry. Prior to that, I worked for several different high-end luxury brands. So of course, it was a perfect match all the way around. Corporate Image was launching this whole new rigid box line. And we were, in fact, targeting luxury brands. So with that being said, it just seemed to be a really good fit all around.
Well, that's wonderful. And the luxury brand market packaging is historically very unsustainable with their materials. So what you're doing is a huge innovation and frankly a step forward in the right direction for that space. So thank you for that. What is Corporate Image? What do you do? What's the secret sauce? Tell us about it.
Well, Corporate Image is a 40-year-old company. Our parent company has been around for 100 years. So we celebrated our 100-year anniversary last year in October. So that's wonderful. We're an employee-owned company. As such, we take pride in everything that we do. And I think everybody takes a little bit of ownership a little bit further in the products that we produce. So we produce really high-end, high-quality products. Everything is produced in the US. Our manufacturing facilities are based in Iowa. I personally work remotely, so I work out of Miami, Florida. I enjoy the sun, and I love I certainly take a lot of pride in rubbing that in during the winter months. But
so this isn't being recorded in a cornfield right now.
No.
Okay, good. Well, that's wonderful.
So Corporate Image, like I said, it's been around for 40 years. We really focused the business initially focused on presentation materials. So that's binders, folders, pocket folders. We were the first ones to really embrace flex hinging and natural made products, sustainable products. We used 80 point, 90 point, 95 point, I think 120 point board to produce binders. We are the world's only naked binder. So we produce binders out of 100% post-consumer waste, rigid paper board. It is ESCA board. We can use finger pulls, we can flex hinge it, we can do round back binders. We are the leading provider of cloth binders in the US.
I didn't know that.
Cloth related. So same cloth that they use in the book industry. With our parent company is what they spearhead and produce. Corporate Image has gone ahead and started producing cloth bound binders again about 40 years ago, and we are the leaders in that. We produce the world's best binder. We awarded that in 2016. We are also the largest manufacturer in states as far as cloth binders, naked binders, and everything else. So we're proud about that. We launched our packaging division a couple years back. We have spearheaded and trademarked a new product called Rigid Box. So that Rigid Box product is, I think, probably the foremost in technology innovation in packaging that's taken place recently. We produce the only raw board box in the States currently. So basically, what that is we take raw paper board, we groove it, and then we can glue it within the edges and corners and bring the box together. So it's unlike a turned edge box, it is purely raw board paper that is producing the box. So there's no cover materials needed.
That's excellent. There's so often that we think, oh, we must totally wrap everything in material and it has to be foil stamped and embossed and debossed to be beautiful. And I think what you guys are doing is absolutely a step in the right direction. And it's improving sustainability so much. Your packaging is 100% recyclable.
Yes. So the foundation of all of our packaging is 100% recyclable. So it's all using raw paperboard. So something like this. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah. We'll put it on YouTube eventually. Yes. Yes.
Oh, yeah, cool. So with that, we can produce perfect 90-degree corners. Unlike most companies, doesn't have the rounded edges. Raw paperboard, and we have different colors of raw paperboard. So in this case, it's black and it's solid black all the way through. So unlike others where you black on one side and gray on the other, this one's actually black all the way through, solid black. So when you cut and die cut, you can actually include that as part of your branding. So all of our inserts can also be raw paperboards. The full box is fully sustainable. We can do blind debossing, so you can have a fully sustainable.
Yeah.
Foils in some cases can be used, and foil is one of those subject matters that is it sustainable? Is it not? It is recyclable. Does it separate? I mean, that's kind of what you guys do in defining
Yep.
what that looks like across the country. So I
Yeah.
think it's interesting to see if we had a breakdown of what state can do what. That would be wonderful.
Right.
Um,
My understanding is good news for that. As long as the foil stamp is not too large, like if it's not covering the entire box or if it takes up more than 80% of the box, it should be fully recyclable still, and that material will get taken out. There are some foil stamps that are more sustainable. They don't have a poly coating, they're just the metal, and that is the easiest to recycle. But yeah, good news on that front. And the packaging that you guys make is beautiful. You sent me a sample kit, and I immediately called our vice president of marketing and said, hey, we gotta do these. They're sustainable, they're beautiful, let's do it. And he said, okay, let's. So we're gonna be one of your partners, and that's exciting. But I'm honored to be a part of that system and to offer that to our customers and pass along the sustainability. That's really important.
I appreciate that. And it really is a great opportunity for all of us. I thank you
Yeah.
for pushing us forward as well.
Yeah. So what makes your material more sustainable than other material? It's uncoated. What else can you tell us about it?
It's uncoated paperboard, so it's actually layered paperboard. So it's got 3-ply layers. They're all made out of recycled fiber. Then depending on the color of the board, some of it is virgin, but as you know, virgin fiber isn't necessarily bad depending on where it's grown and how it's grown and cultivated. So It's all FSC certified. Being all FSC certified, we can carry that FSC certification to the packaging itself, but it does incur a little bit of a cost if you want that certification, not the end product. But lo and behold, it is the same board whether you have it certified or not, because it has come in from the mill.
Don't tell FSC that, but
yes, I know. But with that being said, like the glues that we use are either protein-based or biodegradable. Some people do spec that, so it just depends on the project. We do, from a paper standpoint, if you do want cover material, not to say that we can't use cover material, we can. And we can certainly use any of the brands that are out there. Our parent company is a distributor of ecological fiber and Nina and our own cultivated product. So with that, or proprietary product, say, with that being said, we can use sustainable materials to cover the actual box as well that matches your branding. So if it's FSC certified, you can use an FSC certified product, and we can use uncoated papers as well. So it's just a matter of what your branding and what your brand and what your vision incurs.
So often we think that we need to import packaging like that to be cost competitive. And what I was thrilled to find was your company, and there are a couple others in the US that are doing this very competitively price wise. And frankly, there's a lot less risk because there's almost no freight. And, so that's exciting. But could you tell us a story of sometime in your career where you did a packaging project that just was really memorable? Like, it was for a big company or a friend, or can you tell us something like that?
Sure. Well, there's a lot of memorable projects, but most recently, yes, there was a company, without naming names, correct? Obviously, there was a company that's local. They have several retail stores, about 1,200 in total in the country.
Several. Yeah.
Several, and they had some issues with their product coming from overseas. So they did contact us initially for a smaller volume, just to kind of be that Band-Aid for product that they couldn't get in time for their new product launch. So asked us, listen, this is the package. And I'm sure you know this too. So there's a lot of products that are made overseas that are definitely there's a lot of handwork in. So in the handwork, we're not efficient in handwork here in the States. I don't care what company you go to. It is just something that we're not efficient at. So if you're willing to look at a package in a different way, and we're allowed to repurpose or re-envision it, we did, and we actually made it better. So how do we make it better? One, obviously we made it sustainable. It wasn't sustainable coming in from overseas. And then on top of that, we eliminated a lot of plastic. So from that, it was C1S, soft touch laminated, all kinds of different things. We ended up switching them over to raw board. So it was a neck and shoulder box with a raw board neck. The insert, instead of being plastic or thermoform, we did a raw paperboard insert. We modified the insert so that their customer is of an older base, and some do have some disability. So we made it so that the insert was easy to not only remove, but also remove their actual product. So all in all, the project actually came out much better than they anticipated, and they ended up ordering a lot more boxes, which is obviously great, and they're more elegant. They were much happier with the end product. And as far as pricing goes, we were slightly more than they had paid overseas from a per box perspective, but we did save them in the long run from the freight costs, taxes, and everything else that were included. And then, of course, from a sustainability standpoint, we made their box significantly more sustainable, or actually made their box sustainable versus unsustainable.
Right. And what a good feeling for the consumer and for the customer to be able to provide products that are easily curbside recyclable. Can you tell us what handwork means? I believe it to mean things like gluing in magnets and things like that. Is that what you're speaking about?
And actually, we can do magnet insertion in line in our box.
Oh, wow.
So we are one of the few companies that can in the States.
That's amazing.
What we cannot do is ribbon. So some companies are, in luxury packaging, you're used to a lot of the high-end Chloe and Louis Vuitton boxes that have lots of ribbon components that are embedded into their different trays when you have the unboxing experience. A lot of that ribbon work is not produced in line in any machinery, because we're not capable of doing it. So as a result, those types of things we're just not cost effective. However, if you are willing, like I said, to re-envision your box a little bit, we can do V notches. So instead of doing a ribbon pull, we can do a V notch, or we can do a finger pull. We can do lots of other things. So it's just a slight modification based on our own capabilities.
That's excellent. We need to take a step back and look at the packaging that we're using and say, why and how could we make this different? This mentality that you have is what all manufacturers should have, and all packaging professionals should have, is, hey, do we really need that? Could we do it like this and still make it beautiful, and still make it, in, like we say at Landsberg Aurora, it's the promise of what's inside, and make it exciting for the consumer to open. But I love that. You don't need satin ribbon wrapped around and tied in knot and bows to be beautiful. There are other options that make it incredible.
Thank you. We take pride in that. So I appreciate you saying that.
Anything new and exciting coming out that you guys have? Maybe some new capabilities or something that you want to speak to?
Well, that is this line in itself is still relatively new. So we've been doing it for 2 years on the raw board side. So again, you can produce a box, raw paper board. You don't need the cover material. We can emboss, deboss, foil stamp directly on the board. We can also UV print directly on the board. So depending on the volume, if you have small volumes, under 1,000 boxes, it probably makes sense to UV print it versus foil stamp it. Anything higher than that, and then of course, depending on how big and intricate the design is. If it's something simple, one color, then it's probably better to do a foil stamp. From that, again, we can do magnet insertion in line in our facilities here in Iowa. So that being said, a lot of companies go overseas for that kind of work, and we can certainly do it in-house. We can do a lot of other cool things. So we can do flat fold boxes also. So here's what we call a G fold. This ships flat, stores flat, and then once you want to put a product in it, you just kind of stick it in there, and now you got what we call a G fold box. So G from a marketing department, because when you open it up, it looks like a G. So nothing real creative.
It's beautiful. That's a beautiful box.
Yeah, you just put a sleeve on it, and now it's a retail product. If you want to just use this as your shipping box, put a shipping box around it, and now you've got a nice little cute box that you can use, and of course it folds flat. So what's great about it is it gives you a tremendous amount of also real estate to market and brand your product, and tell your story. So we have this in G fold. We have a Z fold also. We also have several other kind of really ingenious designs. We have a two-sided, what we call a double-sided slipcase. So most companies will do one slipcase. Well, here we do two different sides to pull it out. So just kind of different things that we try to re-envision things. Again, it's really all about design and trying to make it more exciting. We've done a two-sided drop. So you have like a telescoping box where two of these sides drop down. So if you have a really nice beauty product in there,
oh, that's cool.
It's that aha moment. So when you lift up the lid, the two sides drop, and then there's your beautiful, perfume bottle or other cosmetic product, or even candles. We've done it for some candle companies as well.
A two-sided drop. What a brilliant idea. So to explain this to the listeners, as you pull the top of the box out, what we call a telescoping box, because because it's expanding, it's
Right.
growing, it's growing larger. You take the top off, and two of the four bottom
Right.
sides flop
Advantages.
down and reveal your product. What a brilliant idea. I haven't seen that.
We can do that, and we can also do a four-sided drop, which in essence the entire thing opens. But
Yeah.
in doing the four-sided drop, truthfully, I like the two-sided drop better because from a stability standpoint, it's easier to open and close.
Tough to get back together. I did see a video on TikTok where somebody had packaging like that with a four-sided drop,
Yeah.
and these paper butterflies flew out, which I thought
Right.
was really neat. I was like, wow. I had dozens of people sent me that, like, because I'm like the packaging guy there. So like,
Oh, we
hey,
can do it.
this is cool.
We
Yeah.
can definitely do that. And that's in line, it's processed, it's not hand done. So certainly something we can produce, mass produce in our facility.
Well, that's amazing. What would you say is your favorite part of your job?
I love helping brands and re-envision themselves.
Yeah.
I think that is the most exciting to me. It's understanding who they are, what they want, where they want to go, where they want to be, and
Yeah.
being part of that process and helping them develop that brand. So I feel like almost sometimes I'm part of the brand
You are.
experience with
Yeah.
them. So you grow with them, and it's building that long-term relationship. So this is what it's all about, and I absolutely love it.
That's wonderful. How do we get a hold of you? What's the best way?
My cell phone, I'm pretty accessible. So I make myself accessible in every way, shape, or form. So you got me on LinkedIn, which I'm sure I could provide you a link. My email, so it's Michele C at corp-image.com. So it's MICHELEC at corp-image.com. You've also got me on my cell number, 786-439-4445. Look me up on LinkedIn, Michele Choate. I think I'm the only Choate out there.
That's a very unique last name. Do you know the lineage there?
As a matter of fact, they do. So my father is half German, half Black Irish. So
Oh, wow.
when they came to the States, there's only 2,000 and change of us in the States, and we're all actually related somehow in one form or another. We came back, arrived here 4 or 5 generations ago. And again, we're all related. So, yeah, pretty big family tree.
I love that. Yeah. Well, thank you again. Really appreciate you being on the show. And thank you, Landsberg Aurora, for your sponsorship. If you're listening, please take a minute to review and tell your friends about it. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Thank you so much, Michele.
Thank you so much, Cory. Have a great one.